just a leader getting involved there. Well, it started off pretty tame earlier, and the team.
This is the moment that has everyone buzzing right now. Jermaine Franklin wouldn't stop talking, and Moses Itauma answered by delivering a sharp slap straight across his face. There was no pause and no warning, just an instant reaction. Moses had clearly reached his limit and turned the situation personal on the spot. Johnny Nelson explains the situation exactly as he sees it and points out what he believes was the clear motive behind it. In his view, Jermaine Franklin was attempting to pull Moses Itauma into a tense moment and push the situation into something chaotic. What started as tension quickly moved into a level of disrespect that crossed the line. Eddie Hearn makes it clear that the situation had already slipped out of control. He knew that if Moses Itauma and Jermaine Franklin came close to each other again, things would explode right away. That slap shifted the entire atmosphere. Soon after, security had to step in to stop the moment from turning into complete chaos.
You honestly think if these two come together like this, you know what's going to happen?
So what you
I'm going to keep them apart by a wall of security.
Frank Warren made it clear he was not pleased with how things played out. He pointed out that actions like that slap are unnecessary when the fight itself is already strong enough to sell the event. Even so, the tension surrounding the moment shows just how intense and serious this matchup has become.
I like it. People think because you're a promoter you like all that stuff. Me, I didn't like what happened.
Liam Goof points out the numbers, but the attention quickly returns to Moses Itauma. Even with the small changes on the scale, he still appears focused and dangerous. The weight has never been what defines him. His speed, power, and determination are what stand out. And after that slap, it is clear he is completely locked in.
And so we had the weigh-in for Itauma versus Jermaine Franklin, and the weight of Moses Itauma throughout the course of his career has kind of been, it's weird because even when Itauma's been heavier than this, and just to bear in mind, he weighed 242 pounds. That is a 7-pound increase from his previous fight against Dillian Whyte, but crucially, he is still 12 pounds lighter than he was when he fought Mike Balogan in May of last year. So we're seeing some pretty strange fluctuations, I guess it's fair to say, from Itauma. I mean, 254 against Balogan. He didn't look, like Moses Itauma has never looked chiseled. He doesn't look in bad shape, but he's never been a Joe Six-Pack, you know.
Moses Itauma makes his intentions clear, saying that Jermaine Franklin represents the toughest challenge in front of him. For him, this is far more than just another fight. It is a chance to send a strong message. After the drama at the weigh-in, his concentration looks sharper than ever, showing he is ready to take control and leave no doubt about himself or any questions his team may still have.
There's questions that my team want to know about me, there's questions that I want to know about myself, and I'm sure that there's a lot of questions that the fan wants to know about me as well. So I feel like Jermaine Franklin is the final piece of the puzzle. So when I get asked about other fighters, that's not going to happen if I don't get through Jermaine Franklin. So this is a serious fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jermaine Franklin speaks with strong confidence, pointing to his fast hands and ability to adjust in the ring. But after the slap moment, the pressure is now on him to prove those words with action. Moses Itauma has already set the tone, and now Jermaine must show that he can meet that same level of intensity once the fight begins.
No, he might be one of the fastest guys, but I spar a lot of fast guys. You know, I think I'm ready for the hands.
Lawrence Ockley offers a very direct and honest view of the situation. Moses Itauma clearly has the physical advantages, including speed, power, southpaw ability, and natural movement, but he is still mostly untested at the highest level. His rise has looked impressive so far, but the real test in front of him is Jermaine Franklin, a fighter known for his experience and ring awareness. This matchup could become a major turning point. The slap during the weigh-in was not just a dramatic moment. It also felt like a signal that Moses is mentally focused and ready to prove that his abilities are more than just hype.
For opponents like Bonnie Blue goes through knickers. Okay, I've come in hot. Okay, let's calm it down. But like a heavyweight should, he brings the excitement, the speed and agility for such a big guy, the power, and he's a southpaw to top it off. He's got it all. When you look at his attributes, he's gifted. He seems to be the full package, but the truth is, he's untested. And yes, I do know as a fighter, you can only fight the man in front of you, and he's been passing with flying colours. But when you do break it down who he's actually fought, Dylan White, way past his best, inactive, a has-been, I'm sorry.
Adam Smith speaks highly of Moses Itauma as a complete fighter, pointing to his mindset, strength, and smooth southpaw movement. Everything about Moses signals danger, and the slap during the weigh-in only strengthened the idea that he holds a strong mental advantage. The main question now comes down to timing. Is Jermaine Franklin the ideal challenge at this stage, or is Moses being moved forward too quickly? Either way, Moses appears prepared to take control in the ring. The blend of ability, confidence, and aggression makes him a very difficult opponent. Fans may be in for a standout performance that shows he is not only skilled, but also a serious threat.
New kid on the block, Moses Itauma, who looks absolutely extraordinary, and for me he ticks all the boxes. I like his attitude, I like his style, southpaw, hard-hitting, moves so well. He's going to be very, very difficult to sort of deter. So it's an interesting one because, yeah, is this too soon for Moses, or is this just the right fight at the right time?
Teddy Atlas lays it out clearly. Moses Itauma is a natural puncher built to hit hard. His technique has been carefully developed under proper guidance, and Ben Davidson has helped mold him into a technically sharp fighter. Some fans may even draw comparisons to legends like Mike Tyson. While records won't fall overnight, his skill, hand speed, and counterpunching are undeniable. That slap at the weigh-in signals he's ready to assert control even outside the ring. Moses isn't just strong, he is disciplined, smart, and fully prepared to dominate against Jermaine Franklin.
Punches are born. That's my saying, I've said it for years. Punches are born, they are not made. Itauma is a puncher, he was born to be a puncher. So people will expect him to get the knockout, like Mike Tyson, similar. They were looking at the similarities, knockouts, young. Matter of fact, there was some talk that maybe he could break Tyson's record and win the heavyweight title as the youngest heavyweight. That's not going to happen. That date has passed. That ship has sailed. But that was something they would think about. I think Frank Warren, his promoter, did the right thing. Rather than rushing it, he gave him the fights he needed to get more seasoning, more maturity, more development. And this is part of that. This is part of that journey. This is part of that job. And that is the job in developing a fighter. And I like him a lot. He's talented. I like he's technically sound. He's got Ben Davidson doing a good job. He had people before that. They've done a good job. He's technically solid. He knows how to fight. He can get you out of there by going to you and by getting you to come to him and counterpunching. He's got good hand speed. As I said, he's fundamentally.
Lawrence Ockley offers a thoughtful perspective, carefully considering all the factors. Moses Itauma combines explosiveness with technical skill, making him a formidable challenge for any opponent. Even if Jermaine Franklin tries to use clever moves or untested strategies, Moses' speed, strength, and accuracy could make the fight brief. That slap at the weigh-in clearly highlighted his mental edge, signaling he's prepared to control both the physical and psychological aspects of the match. While the bout could go in unexpected directions, Moses' natural abilities give him the advantage if he performs at his best.
Correctly.
50-50. Personally, it depends on what style he brings. So it's like, I think if he's like measured, then yes. But if he does what I think he might try and do, which is I'm gonna show this guy, get inside and work like clever shots, I don't think so. I think with someone like Moses, who is naturally so explosive and so quick and technical, he's got so many good attributes, but as we've seen with in any sport across any profession, that explosiveness, in my opinion, cannot happen for 12 rounds. It never happens.
Frank Warren highlights the clash between experience and youth. While Jermaine Franklin brings seasoned skill to the ring, Moses Itauma's youth, aggression, and momentum are major advantages. The slap at the weigh-in already set the mental tone, showing Moses is fearless and fully ready to engage. When the bell rings, expect a mix of power, speed, and strategy. This fight goes beyond just physicality. It's about intent, aggression, and determination. Moses' recent actions show he is mentally sharp, which could be the factor that decides this explosive heavyweight matchup.
Val, because I'm not being disrespectful, they're in their 40s, aren't they now? So the speed that they had a few years ago is not there. Their styles will blend to make it a real, as soon as that bell goes, right on top of each other. And they'll be throwing their...
Dave Allen perfectly sums up the raw
Dave Allen captures the raw intensity surrounding Moses Itauma perfectly. Social media and critics may voice their opinions, but Moses' focus remains unshaken. That slap at the weigh-in wasn't simply a flash of frustration, it was a statement. He brings fire, aggression, and a mindset that won't be rattled or provoked by words alone. Unlike others who might falter under pressure, Moses turns every slight and doubt into fuel. The psychological battle begins long before the bell, and this public show of dominance proves he is fully ready for Jermaine Franklin. Fans can feel the tension, knowing that in the ring, Moses' aggression will be intense and relentless. This fight isn't just about skill, it's about mental strength, and Moses has clearly established his advantage.
What
are you saying?
I get shit all the time on the internet, but what am I going to do about it? What can I do about it? I'll get fucking 5 years if I hit someone.
So why would you care with the position you're in?
It's not that you don't care, because you can care sometimes. Sometimes you'll see comments and you'll think, you cheeky bastard. You think, if I ever got a fucking hold of you and I can get away with it, I'd fucking rip you fucking.
Simon Jordan highlights that Moses Itauma has a rare knack for surprising the world with his power and timing. Every fight builds on the previous one, from Dempsey McCain to Dillian White, and this clash with Jermaine Franklin is another stage for Moses to solidify his reputation. The slap at the weigh-in offered a glimpse of the fire and aggression he carries, showing he's mentally and physically ready to take control. If he follows his game plan, a knockout is possible, giving fans yet another wow moment. This fight isn't only about winning, it's about making a statement. Moses has the ability to reshape his career in a single night, and everyone watching knows the stakes are enormous, as he can finish opponents in ways others simply can't.
And that he has the propensity to put people away that others can't. I mean, I know that we talk about Dillian in that fight, but I think we saw Dillian White a year, 18 months later against Moses Itauma and saw what we needed to see then. Anthony Joshua was rebuilding, but on paper, if Moses goes through Jermaine Franklin, who's considered to be a difficult opponent, will make it difficult for him, and he knocks him out in a couple of rounds, people are going to see the wow factor again. They saw the wow factor against Dempsey McKean because they saw the principle of the fact that he took Hergovich 11 rounds. They saw the wow factor against the perception of Dillian White. But it will catapult Moses, if he needs any catapulting, into a space where people are going to absolutely insist insofar as the relevance of people insisting anything, that he goes in against what's perceived to be a top world-class.
Jermaine Franklin speaks with confidence, ready to challenge Moses Itauma like no one else has. He believes he can push the young star into new, untested territory, but Moses has already set the tone with a shocking slap at the weigh-in. That moment served as a clear warning. This is a fighter who reacts instantly to disrespect. Jermaine's experience and ring intelligence will be put to the test against someone eager to assert dominance. The psychological advantage may already be with Moses, whose aggression and focus make him a very tough opponent. Franklin can strategize, adapt, and exploit openings, but the mental dynamic has shifted, and Moses has boldly made the first statement even before the fight begins.
I could capitalize off of. I have the ring experience to be able to show different looks and give different looks, so he hasn't really been tested as far as someone seasoned that can just give him different styles, change the looks of, not someone that's just gonna sit there and be a punching bag. So
do you think, I mean, he's never gone past 2 rounds so far, Jermaine. Do you think you could be the first to take him into what would be uncharted territory for Moses?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be the first to beat him. Forget uncharted territories. I'm trying to be the first to give him to take away his O on his record. So, you know, I guess people think like when you got a young superstar that everybody else is just a walkover or a standing stone. But, you know, I come to fight. I really come to give it my all and to shock the.
Moses Itauma's previous knockout of Dillian Whyte shows he can overwhelm opponents fast. Jermaine Franklin is skilled and clever, but Moses' aggressive approach, explosive start, and southpaw stance present serious challenges. The slap at the weigh-in already highlighted Moses' readiness to assert control both physically and mentally. If he sticks to his strategy, the fight could end early, leaving Franklin on the back foot. Fans should expect fireworks from the first bell, as Moses blends raw power, accuracy, and relentless intent. The psychological advantage is clearly with him, and Franklin will need more than experience to weather the opening storm.
In my opinion, Jim, yeah, it is. I think that, you know, you've got to look at the styles. Moses Itauma, we saw what he done to Dillian Whyte last time. You know, we expected Dillian Whyte to give him rounds out in Saudi Arabia, and he didn't. He went out there and he absolutely obliterated Dillian in 1 round, took him apart. Southpaw style, very spiteful and very aggressive. Now, we know Jermaine Franklin, who's only lost to Anthony Joshua on points and Dillian Whyte on points, and a lot of people felt that he actually won that fight against Dillian Whyte. He's tricky. He knows how to hustle his way round. I've seen him in the gym, actually. I've been up close and personal with him, you know, through this training camp. And you look at it and you just look at the styles and you go, I think he's in trouble here against a young, fresh Moses who's very spiteful and starts very fast. It could be an early night for Moses Itauma if he gets it.
The stakes couldn't be higher as Moses Itauma goes head-to-head with Jermaine Franklin in what could be one of the year's most intense heavyweight clashes. From the shocking slap at the weigh-in to the psychological games leading up to the fight, Moses has already controlled the narrative and sent a strong warning to Franklin. This isn't just about physical strength, it's a battle of minds, aggression, and determination. A win for Moses would solidify his rise in the heavyweight division, proving he can dominate not just with power, but with intelligence and composure under pressure. If Franklin manages an upset, it would be a career-defining moment, showing that experience and adaptability can overcome youth and aggression. On paper, Moses holds the speed, power, and mental advantage, but Franklin is clever and unpredictable, ready to exploit any mistakes. Fans should expect fireworks from the first bell, with each round telling a story of dominance versus resilience. Who will want it more, and who will crack under pressure? That's the ultimate question. Whose side are you on? Share your thoughts in the comments, and join the debate as this fight unfolds. This video is produced solely for news reporting, commentary, and educational purposes. All footage and images are used under fair use for criticism, analysis, and boxing-related updates.